Hello, people of Holden and Dala, Trinity and Wanamingo. Pastor Chris and I are going to be doing a monthly Bible study and devotion for you through the next few months. We're going to be looking at the book of Isaiah, starting with Isaiah's call and moving through some of the popular chapters that we read in church, sometimes at Christmas season and Advent, sometimes during funerals. So over the next few months, look once a month for a Bible study and devotional from us.
So Isaiah is a really powerful book of the Bible. Isaiah was the son of a priest. He ministered about 800 years before Jesus was born, and his people were facing very, very difficult circumstances, but his words are very beautiful and reassuring, and that's oftentimes why the book of Isaiah is called the fifth gospel. So this is the call of Isaiah from Isaiah chapter 6. In that year, King Uzziah died. I saw the Lord sitting on a throne, high and lofty, and the hem of his robe filled the temple. Seraphs were in attendance above him. Each had 6 wings. With 2 they covered their faces, and with 2 they covered their feet, and with 2 they flew. And one called to another and said, Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of hosts. The whole earth is full of his glory. The pivots on the threshold shook at the voices of those who called, and the house filled with smoke. And I said, Woe is me, I am lost, for I am a man of unclean lips, and I live among a people of unclean lips. Yet my eyes have seen the King, the Lord of hosts. Then one of the seraphs flew to me, holding a live coal that had been taken from the altar with a pair of tongs. The seraph touched my mouth with it and said, Now that this has touched your lips, your guilt has departed and your sin is blotted out. Then I heard the voice of the Lord saying, Whom shall I send? And who will go for us? And I said, Here am I, send me.
As we look at this passage from the 6th chapter of Isaiah, there's a couple things to point out. You notice in the beginning, it tells us who's king when Isaiah is the prophet. We hear that it's King Uzziah. And always in the Old Testament, kings and prophets go hand in hand. Kings are the leaders of their country. Prophets are the ones who speak God's word to the king and the people. Then as you go a little further in this passage, you have the angels, the seraphs, flying around and saying, Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of hosts. It might remind you of a hymn. It might remind you of some of the things we say during worship. And in the Hebrew language, they didn't have a way to say holiest or best. And so to say that something is holiest, they say the word holy 3 times. So holy, holy, holy means holiest. Or if they wanted to say something was best, they would say good, good, good instead of best. And so you hear that in some of our hymns when we worship. Finally today, this is the call story of the prophet Isaiah, and you hear it's a pretty dramatic call story. But each of us have been called by God to go out into the world and serve him. Each of us is called with a purpose in our world, a place we can make a difference for God. And so we have God saying to Isaiah, Whom shall I send and who will go for us? And Isaiah says, Here I am, send me. And that's the beginning of his call story to the people. So today we want to leave you with a few questions. As you listen to this passage and you hear God's voice, whom shall I send and who will go for us? Where is God calling you into our world? Where do you see a need? Where do you see a place you can make a difference? And as you think about that question, think about if you are the one being called to make the difference. Is God sending you? Where is he sending you today?
Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time.